The talk station of the Crescent City, WBOK, 1230 AM.
So we're going to go into a segment now that we're going to be doing for the next several shows because we're coming up on that 5th anniversary. I can't believe we're there, but we are. And, you know, we've gotten a lot done, and we've had some failures, we've had some successes. And I know we're about to have all these pontificators in town, and they're going to come in and say what we should have, could have, would have done. And truthfully, we all know that it was the people from the neighborhoods who rallied and took our city forward. And during that moment, a few folks, including you, Denise Thornton, made a decision that you're going to have to do this yourselves. So let's go back to the beginning when you first said, I've got to do something, and you're in your home, and you did what?
Most of the people were just saying, I'm going to wait and see what everybody else does. So unless someone steps up and says, okay, I'm going to come back, let's put some signs in the yards of people who are thinking they're going to come back. So I kind of made a vow at that point that I would do what I could to bring my neighborhood back and try to regain my way of life.
Timolynn Sams has joined us, and she's the Executive Director of the Neighborhoods Partnership Network. What was your comparable experience to what Denise has been describing?
My experience in coming in and being a part of NPN and watching what was happening in the city, and what really was happening is what Denise was describing in her own particular neighborhood, is neighborhoods then started to build their own cores and centralize themselves around what their focus was. And so every neighborhood in the city of New Orleans has a different focus.
I want to go back and ask you both, what were the chief obstacles that you had to overcome in trying to get your job done? And I want to then also, of course, ask you, where did you draw your sustenance and your help from? Who helped you?
Communication made it very hard. Just getting mail service took, 8 months. It was just a million phone calls.
She just said it. It was about communication. It was capacity building. It was how do I get my message out?
I did have some resources at the city level to where I could reach some of the people in, for example, Robert Mendoza at Department of Public Works. And but getting them to respond was difficult. And I think one of the key things that I did was give the illusion that we were coming back and saying, this is a neighborhood of 400, we are coming back, we're unified. It's just a chain reaction, that happens.
When we talk about these 5 years after Katrina, we can look at a building and say we built this number of schools and we've built this number of churches, we've repaved these number of roads, but how many people did we invest in? How many people did we rebuild? We rebuilt everything in the city, but how many dollars did we put into the people?
That's a good point.
Right, and so the investment in people is what is going to sustain us.
There's a RAND study that is just came out recently that they're going to be talking about later this summer that says that one of the major challenges of recovery is that there is no system of services or operating plan to support human recovery.
Exactly.
We all dealt with levees and streets.
And it's been that way from the beginning. It has been that way from the beginning. Organizations like mine and Timolynn, people don't they're not just out there trying to give money to. We're not hammer and nails, but it is vital and critical, and funders just really don't recognize that.
Where are we now?
As a city?
Yep.
I think that we actually are in a good spot. This January I had the opportunity to visit Kobe, Japan. And it was 15 years after their destruction from a volcanic eruption. And one of the things I asked them is, how long will it take before you recover? And one of the gentlemen said to me, you never recover. Mm-hmm. And so the fact that we are looking for an end spot is wrong. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It is a continuous process because you are constantly learning and recycling and redoing information. So I think that we're in a good spot. I think our mayor spoke really strongly on where we could move to and putting those benchmarks. He said,
let's not just bring it back, let's create something new.
Well, I think Timolynn hit the nail on the head. We have got to invest in new leadership at the neighborhood level. I was never a civic activist before the storm, but I'm not unique. There are many people who have never been in leadership positions before who are now taking the lead. We've got new, younger people moving in all the time because they see it as a blank canvas where they can really make a difference. And so we got to continue that.
But I really want to encourage everybody who's listening to be a part of this and to add your voice, because we'll have a lot of people coming in from out of town, again, telling us what they think about what we're doing, but it's really all the people who've been here doing things and working at the neighborhood level that need to make sure their voices are heard.